الله العظيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم وصل عليه الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. So, alhamdulillah, we are here today to learn about the matters pertaining to the Ghusal and the shrouding, the takfeen of the Mayyat, something which is important for each and every one of us to know, to learn, and to completely be aware of in the method of doing this, as this is from the fardul ain, this is from the compulsory knowledge that each and every Muslim should have. There's no doubt that every single being will leave this world. This is the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should all know that when somebody leaves this world, whether it be a close loved one or a friend or somebody who you may know or somebody you may not know, we should all have the adequate knowledge in how to give the final rites to that person, meaning how we perform the bathing, the ghusl upon that person, how we will perform the shrouding, the takfeen, and how we will bury and lay that person to rest. This is from the rights that the Mayyat has over us, meaning the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that from the rights that the deceased have over us is that they should be given a ghusl, they should be given a takfeen and tajheez, and they of course should have a janazah, and they should be buried according to the Islamic traditions and the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is their due rights that they have over us. So every single one of us should have this knowledge, this adequate knowledge. اتنا علم ہر مسلمان کے پاس ہونا چاہیے کہ وہ یہ جانتا ہے کہ کس طرح میت کی غسل کیا جائے، کس طرح اس کی تجہیز اور تکفین کی جائے، اور نماز جنازہ کس طرح، اور پھر جب اس کو قبر میں لے کے جایا جاتا ہے کس طرح قبر کے اندر داخل کیا جائے اور کس طرح اس کو اس کی جو تدفین کی جائے. یہ ساری چیزیں ہر مسلمان پہ لازم ہیں. یہ نہیں کہ بس بعض پہ ٹھیک ہے وہ جانتے ہیں چلو ہم ان کے ساتھ، یہ نہیں. ہر مسلمان کو اتنا علم ہونا چاہیے، کیونکہ یہ جس طرح نماز سیکھنا یہ فرض عین ہے، نماز کا طریقہ سیکھنا یہ فرض عین ہے، اسی طرح یہ جو جتنی بھی معلومات ہے اور یہ جو علم ہے یہ بھی ہمارے اوپر فرض عین ہے، یعنی لازم علم ہے. This is compulsory and obligatory knowledge, yes, that each and every one of us should have. We should all know these things. So inshallah we're going to start off, we're going to try and keep it to the practical. انشاءاللہ ساتھ ساتھ بتاتا جاؤں گا، لیکن جتنی بھی جو عملی طریقہ ہے انشاءاللہ we're going to explain that today inshallah, and just keep this more of a practical session more than anything else inshallah. یہ ضروری ہے کہ جب غسل کیا جائے تو ہم بعض لوگ یہ کہتے ہیں کہ کس کو غسل کی، یعنی جو غسل ہے اس کا جو حکم ہے کس طرح. یاد رکھیے کہ جس طرح نماز جنازہ یہ فرض کفایہ ہے، اسی طرح یہ جو غسل ہے یہ بھی ایک فرض کفایہ ہے. The ghusl is also a communal obligation. نماز جنازہ is a communal obligation. Likewise, the ghusl is also a communal obligation, meaning that if nobody from the whole community and locality does the ghusl upon the mayyit, then every single one will be sinful. Everyone will be responsible and everyone will be sinful. So it is a communal obligation, a fardul kifaya, yes, upon everyone. And to do the ghusl itself, yes, meaning the method and the actual from start to beginning, to do it once. Yes, everything once, this is fard. And to do it 3 times is the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. It's good for the ghusl, the person who's doing the ghusl, he be in the state of wudu. So جو غسل کرنے والا ہو, جو لوگ غسل دیں گے میت کو, they should be in the state of wudu. Yes, when performing the ghusl upon the deceased. Yes, so they should be in the state of wudu itself. Also, it's makruh for the sisters to do the ghusl upon another Islamic sister if she is napak, meaning that if she's going through her monthly period, her menses, or if she's in the state of uncleanliness, impurity, then it is disliked. It is disliked for her to do the ghusl. Lekin if there is nobody else to do the ghusl, then she has to do it, then it's fine. Yes, but in general, if there is somebody available, yes, who can perform the ghusl, and she's in a state of purity, and somebody else comes along, another Islamic sister comes along, yes, and she performs the ghusl, and she's in the state of impurity, then for her to do it is disliked. Yes, this is disliked. Is that understood? It is disliked for her to do it on other sisters. Also, یہ بھی ضروری ہے اور اچھا یہ ہے, بہتر یہ ہے, this is better, that the one who does the ghusl upon the mayyit, they are from the family. They are from the family. So for example, if an individual passes away, if the sons are present, if the brothers are present, if the fathers are present, then it is better for them to do the ghusl rather than from somebody outside to come along and do the ghusl. It is better for them also. Whoever is closer, if none of the sons, the brothers, the father are present, then other relations, other family members, they take priority rather than people who are just friends or other people. So جو قریبی رشتہ دار ہیں ان کے لیے وہ بہتر یہی ہے کہ وہ غسل دینے میں پہلے آئیں, یعنی ان کو آنا چاہیے, یعنی اولا ہے یہی ہے کہ وہ غسل دیں, پھر ان کے بعد اگر کوئی وہ نہ موجود ہو تو جو قریبی رشتہ دار ہیں ان کو غسل دینا چاہیے, اگر وہ نہ ہو تو پھر جو عام لوگ ہیں محلے کے ان کو غسل دینا چاہیے. تو سب سے افضل یہی ہے کہ جو قریبی ہیں, مثلا باپ ہو, بیٹا ہو, بھائی ہو, ان کو غسل دینا چاہیے میت پہ. اسی طرح اگر کوئی مثال کے طور پر, وہ تو ہم بعد بتائیں گے کہ کتنے لوگ ہونے چاہیے, لیکن اگر مثال کے طور پر 4 جتنے بھی لوگ ہوں گے ان میں سے کچھ لوگ ان کو اتنی معلومات نہیں ہے, they don't have much knowledge, لیکن ایک آدمی پوری طرح وہ جانتا ہے غسل کا طریقہ, اور 4 آدمی جو دوسرے ہیں ان کو اتنا نہیں پتا ہے, یہ نہیں کہنا چاہیے کہ ان کو نہیں پتا ان کو پیچھے کریں اور کو لے آئیں, نہیں, ان کو آگے آنے دیں تاکہ وہ بھی سیکھیں, ان کو پیچھے نہیں کرنا چاہیے. So if somebody is not familiar, yes, if somebody is not familiar with the method of performing ghusl, we shouldn't push them away. We should, as long as there is one person, yes, who has full knowledge and is aware of all the matters related to the ghusl itself, yes, and the full method of the ghusl, as long as there is one person who knows and is familiar, then the rest is fine for them to come along as helpers, and at the same time they can learn, they observe, they watch, and they learn as they go along. یہی موقع ہوتا ہے, ٹائم ہوتا ہے سیکھنے کا. تو یہی نہیں کہ ان کو نہیں پتا ان کو پیچھے کر دیں, push them back and let other people come forward. No, this is not the way. Everyone should be given an opportunity and let them come on board as well. Also, the people who are performing the ghusl, it's good کہ ان کے جو خصلات ہیں, they have good traits, they have good characteristics, meaning وہ they are from the people who are honest, trustworthy, اس طرح کے نیک پرہیزگار لوگ ہوں جو غسل دیں گے. اور ساتھ ساتھ یہ وہ لوگ ہیں جو میت کی اچھی اور خوبیاں بیان کریں, یہ لوگ ہونے چاہیے. یہ نہ ہو کہ یہ اس بندے کی اس کے ساتھ کوئی نفرت تھی اور اس کو آپ آگے کر لیں اور اسی کو غسل دینے کے موقع دیں, نہیں, وہ لوگ دینا چاہیے جو سچ ہیں, جو ہمیشہ یہ اچھے خوبیاں رکھنے والے ہیں, اور جو میت کی بھی خوبیاں اور صفات اور اچھائیاں بیان کریں گے. ایسے لوگ کو منتخب کرنا چاہیے غسل کے لیے. So they are the people who should be chosen to perform the ghusl upon the mayyit. اس قسم کے لوگ ہونا چاہیے. اسی طرح جو مرد ہیں ان کو مرد کو غسل دینا چاہیے, اور جو عورتیں ہیں جو خاتون ہیں بہنیں ہیں ان کو خاتون کو غسل دینا چاہیے. جب بچہ ہوگا, مثلا جو نابالغ بچہ ہوگا, بالکل چھوٹا بچہ ہوگا, اس کے لیے یہی حکم ہے کہ یعنی مرد عورتوں دونوں میں سے غسل دے سکتے ہیں, دونوں غسل دیتے ہیں. So if it's a child, yeah, who's nabaligh, like a minor child, yes, nabaligh child who's not reached the age of puberty, yes, maturity, then the males and the females, they can, either one of them can perform the ghusl. لیکن اگر یعنی مستورات ہو تو پھر صرف ہی مستورات ہونے چاہیے. They can't mix, یعنی کہ دو آدمی ہو دو عورتیں ہوں, نہیں. It should be only women giving the ghusl or only men performing the ghusl upon them. This is for who? کس کے لیے؟ جو child ہے, جو child ہے, نابالغ ہے. But obviously if it's a person who is reached the age of maturity, if it's a man or an adult, yes, then it should be only males, and if it's a female then it should be only females doing the ghusl. خاوند ہوتا ہے تو یہ مسئلہ ہے کہ کیا اس کی بیوی اس پہ غسل دے سکتی ہے؟ لوگ پوچھتے ہیں نا کہ can the wife, the lady, perform the ghusl upon the husband? بالکل دے سکتی ہے, کیونکہ ابھی وہ عدت میں چلی گئی ہے. She is in the time of iddah, the waiting period, yes. So her nikah does not break until she comes out of the iddah. لیکن مرد جو ہی اس کی بیوی فوت ہو جائے تو نکاح ٹوٹ گیا, وہ اب اس کی نامحرم ہے, نامحرم ہے. اس لیے مرد اپنی بیوی کو غسل نہیں دے سکتا, لیکن بیوی اپنے ہسبینڈ کو غسل دے سکتی ہے. یہ ایک سائیڈ نوٹ ہے, اور یہ بھی صرف اس صورت حال میں ہوگا کہ اگر مرد نہ موجود ہو. مثال کے طور پر اگر بھائی موجود ہے یا بیٹے موجود ہوں یا قریبی رشتہ دار موجود ہوں, اس قسم کے لوگ ہیں جو دیں گے, تو پھر ان کو آگے ہونا چاہیے. یہ نہیں کہ لیڈی کو یعنی بیوی کو آگے ہونا چاہیے, نہیں. یہ صرف اس صورت حال ہے کہ جب کوئی مرد نہ ہو, یا کوئی مرد ہے لیکن اس کو پتہ بھی نہیں, بالکل پتہ بھی نہیں, مجبوری ہے نا, تو اس صورت حال میں بیوی غسل دے سکتی ہے. Is that understood? بیوی غسل دے سکتی ہے, لیکن وہ اکیلے غسل دے گی, اس کے ساتھ کوئی اور خاتون یا مرد بھی نہیں ہوں گے. She will alone perform the ghusl upon her husband. This is only in these circumstances. ہم نے یہ کہا نا کہ جو مرد ہے وہ غسل نہیں دے سکتا, لیکن کچھ لوگ یہ بھی سوال کرتے ہیں, پیپل آسک, کیا مرد کندھا دے سکتا ہے؟ Husband, can he lift the casket, the coffin? Can he lift it? Can he lay the wife to rest? And can he take her down into the grave? یہ سارے کام کر سکتا ہے. سوائے غسل اور سارے کام مرد کر سکتا ہے, سوائے غسل. یعنی سوائے غسل سے مفہوم یہ ہے کہ غسل اور تکفین, یہ جو ہے نا, اس کے علاوہ سارے کام. مثال کے طور پر کفن اٹھا سکتا ہے, مثلا میت جب اس کو تکفین دی گئی نا تو اس کو اٹھا سکتا ہے, اور جو ڈبہ ہے اس میں اس کے اندر رکھ سکتا ہے. اسی طرح جو کافن ہے اس کو بھی اٹھا سکتا ہے, اور قبر میں بھی لٹا سکتا ہے. یہ سارے کام مرد کر سکتا ہے, یہ جائز ہے. صرف غسل دینا اور جو چادریں ہیں کفن کی وہ نہیں پہنا سکتا. So is that understood? So the husband, he can do everything else apart from bathing, giving the ghusl, and also putting the kafan, the sheets upon the wife. He can do everything else, meaning that he can put her inside the coffin, he can lift the coffin, he can give shoulder to it, yes, carry her to the janazah or to the masjid, yeah, and to the qabristan. He can lift her on his shoulders, and he can also take the coffin. کیونکہ بعض دفعہ پاکستان میں تو یہی ہوتا ہے نا, ادھر تو جو کیا کہتے ہیں اس کو, جو ڈبہ ہے کافن, جو کافن ہے, کافن, اس کو ادھر تو یہاں ہوتا ہے, پاکستان میں تو بغیر اس کے قبر میں لٹایا جاتا ہے. تو مرد جو ہسبینڈ ہے وہ اس کو اٹھا سکتا ہے اور قبر میں, he can put her inside the grave, yes, he he can't actually pick her up and put her inside the grave. So these are just some masail in relation to the ghusl, preparing for it. So now inshallah we're going to come on to the ghusl itself, the practice. ghusl دیں گے نا تو یہ ضروری ہے کہ ایک اونچی جگہ پہ میت کو غسل دیا جائے. جیسے یہاں ہوتا ہے, ہر جگہ پہ یہ ہوتا ہے کہ جو ٹیبل ہوتا ہے تو اونچی جگہ, ایک قسم کا پلیٹ فارم ہو جہاں آپ میت کو لٹائیں گے. So wherever you are going to lay the deceased upon should be a nice high place like a platform so you can lay them on. And so you need that, and then of course at the same time you need, if you don't have, مثلا ادھر تو شاور کا اہتمام ہوتا ہے, جو ہوز ہوتا ہے, لیکن بعض جگہوں پہ نہیں ہوتا تو پھر ایک جگ ہونا چاہیے. Yes, you should have like a pot, like a jug or a lota which you can pour water with. This is one of the things that you need. Also you need some like a cloth that you're going to wrap your hand around. ایک موٹا سا کپڑا ہونا چاہیے جو اپنے ہاتھوں کو لپیٹیں گے, کیونکہ جو بندہ دھوئے گا تو وہ ہاتھ تو نہیں لگائے گا, وہ اس کپڑے کے ساتھ ہاتھ لگائے گا, کپڑا لپیٹ کے اپنے ہاتھوں پہ. تو اگر کپڑا نہیں ہے تو پھر کیا استعمال کرنا چاہیے؟ گلوز. یہاں تو گلوز بہتر یہی ہے کہ کپڑا ہو, کیونکہ گلوز کپڑے کے ساتھ آپ کچھ فیل نہیں کریں گے, فیل تو نہیں ہوگا نا. گلوز کے ساتھ وہ فیل ہو جاتا ہے, فیل ہو جائے. تو بہتر یہی ہے کہ ایک کپڑا ہو جو آپ لپیٹ سکیں. اگر کپڑا ہے تو پھر گلوز اگر استعمال کریں گے تو پھر موٹے ہونے چاہیے, جو واٹر پروف نہ بھی ہو, جو بھی گلوز ہوں پلاسٹک کے جو بھی ہیں, لیکن کم سے کم موٹے ہونے چاہیے. So the gloves that you're going to wear, they should be thick gloves. Yes, latex gloves, whatever you're going to use, they should be made of a thick material. اسی طرح کچھ طرح کی جو پتے ہونی چاہیے, یعنی جو مختلف پتے ہیں, مثال کے طور پر کافور کے ہوں یا پیری کے جو پتے ہیں, یس پیریز اگر یعنی میسر ہوں, if you have them, then you should have these, because then what will you do with these? You will put these leaves, berry leaves, kafur, you put them inside warm water and then you will wash the deceased with this. Yes, you will wash them اگر میسر ہو, بیری کے پتے ہوں یا کافور کے. اسی طرح عطر یہ بھی ہونی چاہیے, اور بتیاں, جو بتیاں اگربتیاں جو ہے نا, اگربتی جو ہے یہ بھی. So you should have some عطر, some perfume and some incense sticks. Yes, incense sticks, and inshallah we'll explain why we need these incense sticks as well as we move along. اسی طرح دو موٹی سی چادریں جن کا جو ڈارک کلر کی ہیں, موٹی سی چادریں. So two sheets, yes, two sheets of cloth, yes, made a thick material and of dark color, کیونکہ یہ استعمال کی جائیں گے جب غسل ہم دیں گے تو جو سطر ہے نا اس جگہ پہ یہ رکھا جائے گا. جو میت کا جو سطر ہے ناف سے لے کے ٹخنوں تک, یہ جگہ سطر نہیں رہے گا, تو یہ جگہ چھپی ہونی چاہیے جب غسل ہم دیں گے. تو یہ چادر جو ہے نا اس جگہ کے اوپر ہوگی, اور جب ہم میت کو غسل دیں گے تو دو چادریں ہونی چاہیے. So two sheets of cloth when we give ghusl, made of a thick material, a dark material, which is not like transparent or it can be see through. So when it gets wet, you can easily see through it. Yes, so it should be of a thick material. اسی طرح صابون, اور جو صابون ہو وہ بھی الکحل فری صابون اگر ہونا چاہیے, جو بغیر الکحل ہے. سو جو حلال صابن ہے وہ استعمال کریں جو الکحل فری ہے. اور اسی طرح جو کاٹن بڈس یہ بھی ہمیں چاہیے ہوں گے. انشاءاللہ یہ ساری چیزیں جو ہے نا ہم بتائیں گے کہ کس وجہ سے, جب سامان پہنچے گا تو انشاءاللہ آپ کو یاد ہی لے گا انشاءاللہ. سو کاٹن بڈس, and of course then you need some, جب کفن کے لیے you'll need sheets and some scissors to cut the coffin. You need a waste bag, اگر کوئی میت سے کوئی جسم سے کوئی نجاست نکل آئے جی, یا اگر کوئی وائپس کی ضرورت ہو تو یہ اس بیگ میں آپ رکھ لیں گے, ٹھیک ہے نا, انشاءاللہ اس بیگ میں رکھیں گے. تو انشاءاللہ ہم شروع کرتے ہیں غسل کا جو طریقہ ہے. We need somebody to come forward انشاءاللہ. یہ ہاتھوں میں ہوں گی تو ہم چکر لگائیں گے. इस जगह पे, अगर मैयत इस वक्त अभी तक हमने मैयत इस जगह पे रखा नहीं है, टेबल पे रखा नहीं, लेकिन एक चक्कर जैसे तवाफ होता है ना, ये 3 या 5 या 7 चक्कर ये लगाएंगे इस टेबल के. Is that understood? Can you get the sheets?
Yeah.
Not for the coffin, for the ghusl. Inshallah, with them incense sticks. We're going to go around it. ये बिल्कुल ये सुन्नत मसनून तरीका है कि 3 चक्कर अगर अभी तक.
The other thing is, you know, when somebody passes away, as soon as they pass away at home, before even bringing to the masjid, it's the family's responsibility to ensure that the head's facing right, and the head, and I just have, if you have your arms
Right, to the sides.
like this, fasten like that, it makes it a lot easier for the ghusl. There's a sunnah process as well. So the face, if you tilt the head to the right, because what happens is once they've left the house, they either get put into a refrigerator in the morgue, or the body starts getting cold. And once it's cold, it's a lot harder for us to tilt the head. So if you do it initially when the body's warm, it'll stay that way. So you tilt the head and you fasten the arms like this, as if the deceased is in prayer. Whether it's a male or female, it doesn't matter. Irrespective, it makes it way easier for us, inshallah. And it's according to the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu.
And also, obviously, when they pass away, immediately you close their mouth. So if the mouth is opened, you bring it together. Now, if for some reason it won't close, then what you do is you get a small piece of kapra, yes, and you tie it around the head and around the jaw, just to keep it closed. And then after a short while, you just take it off, because that will help keep the mouth closed, inshallah. So then obviously when you take them inside the ghusl khana, then it's obviously easy to apply all the rituals of ghusl itself. So that's another practice, you fasten the head around the jaw, inshallah. जो ghusl का जो तरीका है ना कि 4 या 5 आदमी होने चाहिए ghusl के लिए, 4 या 5 जितने भी आदमी होना, 4 या 5 इतने आदमी, 4 or 5 people, they should be performing the ghusl. So there'll be 1 or 2 people who will be, or maybe 3 people, applying obviously doing the ghusl itself, and then there'll be 2 people who will be holding the thick cloth. Yes, so depending on how much, 4 to 5 people.
So basically, when you're doing the ghusl, what normally tends to happen, this cloth goes over the body. If you just move that, the black cloth, because what happens is the body comes in, it comes in on a stretcher, it comes in a bag. We place the body up on the slag. We take the deceased out, and then we place this over the aura. The beauty of this cloth is that it seeps water through. It allows water to seep through, so we don't have to move the cloth. We have 2 sheets of these. With the second sheet, once you've fulfilled the first faraid and you've done the entire ghusl, you place the second sheet on there, or you place a towel and you let the body air dry. Placing it above, we don't. That's not what we practice here. Basically, you place it over the body. So basically, the aura is from the navel, from here to the knee. It's ensuring that's covered, which is fard al-ain, and then beyond that, we perform the ghusl. Initially, we start with the istinja and so forth, and then the sheikh will basically explain the rest.
So once you place this, then the first thing you do, you start off by doing the istinja. So the reason why you said that we'll have 2 people is sometimes we have to raise it a little to get into those people, but we don't raise it to a height. You're still covering the aura, but just underneath. If you need to do that, I mean, but sometimes obviously the person who's performing the ghusl, yes, if they've got like a bucket in their hand, like a.
You want me to? Should we do it together, basically?
Yeah, if they've got a lota in their hand, then sometimes they can't do both things, trying to hold that and then wash it. So they need someone to lift it up.
So basically, how we do it here, basically, we don't lift this up. We leave that there. This goes on that, so nobody can see the aura. We lift the legs. We spread the legs. You've got a shower piece inside there. Somebody from the family basically sprays the shower piece. There's only 2 people doing it. The person spraying it is not looking, and a member of the family from the kid, he's basically ensuring that the back passage is clean first. He does that 3 times. He's wearing rubber gloves, and then when he's happy, all the filth and the stool's been removed from there, then we'll give him cotton buds. We give him 3 cottons. We give him cotton buds, we wet them, damp, we wipe, to come back clean, first time, second time, third time, then we move to the front passage. So that's how we do the back passage first, then the front passage. Twist istinja.
So after applying the istinja, then we're going to move on to washing
the deceased.
The deceased.
That's right.
So we're going to start off with the wudu itself. So we'll wash the face of the mayyat, then we'll move on to the arms. So gently, when it comes onto the face, we're not going to wash the mouth or the gums, meaning we're not going to wash the teeth or anything. We'll just wash all the rest of the face. Gently, with your obviously hands, you're going to go and massage it and wash it. Yes, wash it with your hands as well. Then we're going to move on to the right arm, and we'll wash the right arm, so we can take that out, and we will wash the right arm of the mayyat. And then from the fingers all the way up to the elbows, including the elbows. Then we'll move on to the left arm, and we'll do the same for that. Yes, make sure that we wash this properly, as if though you're doing wudu, the four fara'id of wudu. Once you finish the arms, then we will move on to the head, and we will just do the masa. So just the way you do masa for wudu, you will just do masa. So you wet your hands, or of course you've got the shower, and you just do the masa of this one.
So,
sorry, do we have to wear gloves or?
Yeah, you wear gloves.
You've got gloves on anyway, right?
During this process, you've got gloves on. Before you wash the face, what we do, what we practice here is basically we have cotton buds. You know, ones you normally clean your ears out with. So you get a set of them. You wet them from. You basically dab them in the hot water, in the lukewarm water, on either side. So you basically do the top lid with one side, bottom lid with the second side. You do that 3 times, which is with rinsing the mouth, and then the nostrils as well, which is the sunnah of the Prophet, the sunnah of wudu. So you use one side for one nostril, and second side for the second nostril, and you repeat that 3 times. And you can do it beyond that, 3, 5, 7, depend up until your content, because how we establish the fara'id, and then upon that we build upon that by beautifying it with the sunnah. But there are certain people that go beyond that, which is perfectly fine, because this is the final right. You know, this right that you have, especially for the family. This is how you're going to last remember your deceased, by performing the ghusl. So once you perform the ghusl, you need to be content with every single thing. So you need to do it to the best of your ability, because once you've done the ghusl and then tomorrow you go home, you think, you know what, I could have done this, or I could have done that, I could have done that. You don't want them thoughts haunting you. So when you come to do the ghusl, the people, the brothers, if there's a brother there showing you what to do, or if there's a sister there showing you what to do, they'll be more than happy to support you with the ghusl of what to do. But you need to be content in what you're doing. If you've got any questions, just ask them on the day. In terms of then once you've done that, then what you do, how we basically wash the face is basically we pour the water in our hand. So you got the jug, you're pouring it into your hand, it's coming down into your hand, and then you're seeping it through, and then you're wiping it over the face. So it's on your hand wet, then so basically like basically washing your face for wudu. So you're pouring the water, you're cupping your hands, and letting it go, because your hands are wet, then you're dabbing up on the face, then again dabbing up on the face, then again dabbing up on the face 3 times. Then you move on to the arms, and once you've done the arms, when you're washing the arms, just make sure that you catch the cusp of the armpit. So all the way down through the fingers, you swap over, and then you go on to the feet.
Sorry, do we still have to wear the gloves?
Yeah, you're wearing the gloves. Don't worry.
Your gloves will be safe.
Because the only seriousness at the moment is if it's a COVID death, it's totally different. If it's COVID, it's totally that's totally different. If it's a normal death, then it's just you wear one set of gloves. If it's a COVID death, you've got to sanitize your gloves in between. You're touching different parts, and you've got to wear the PPE and so forth. This ghusl process is just for the normal death. If somebody dies normally, if somebody dies of natural causes, like old age, disease. If it's COVID, there's a totally different process in relation to this.
Once we've done the arms, then we've done the masa, then inshallah we're going to move on to the feet. So we wash the right foot first, and then we'll wash the left foot. You see, just the way you wash the foot. And you wash them thoroughly, so that from the top part and the bottom of the foot, inshallah, both of them right and left.
So when you're washing the feet, you lift the foot. So you basically, you've got one person, so basically you're lifting the foot, you're pouring it one of his pouring the water on, the other one washing in between. 90% of the time it's the family that do ghusl. There's somebody there from the mosque that says, look, this is what you need to do it like this, do it like this. They'll be giving you the guidance, but it'll be the immediate family that will be doing the ghusl. Then same thing with the left foot, and then once you've done that, same thing, done. You've done the wudu then, and inshallah then you move on to the ghusl.
Yeah. So once we've done the wudu, obviously he's already explained that you wash the mouth and the nose with the cotton buds. You can do that at that time, or you can do it later as well. I mean, so it's not necessary to be done in that specific order. If that's the way it's done here, then that's fine. Inshallah, when you're washing the face, you wash the inside of the mouth with the cotton bud and the nose as well. Then we're going to wash the head, inshallah. So we're going to do the ghusl now, inshallah. So we'll start off by washing the head, and here what we'll do is we'll raise the head. So we'll slightly lift it up, inshallah, so we can wash it properly from underneath as well. So there'll be obviously one person lifting it, inshallah, or maybe two, whoever, and the other person will be washing it with water, and at the same time kind of massaging it and washing it thoroughly, all the head, inshallah, as you would wash your head for ghusl when you start off your ghusl. Once the head is washed, then inshallah we will move on to the right side of the body, so we will wash that. So how are we going to wash the right side of the body? What we will do is we'll turn the mayyit onto the mayyit's left side. So we'll turn them onto the left side. Again, keeping sure obviously that this chadar, it doesn't move out of place.
So basically, when it comes to washing the right side, you wash the front side first. Then this you took chadar yourself, you took it under. So it's tucked under. So it's tucked under the back passage as well. And then the brothers, there'll be two brothers on this. There'll be two, 3 people on this side. What they'll do is basically, you'll have 2 people that will hold them from here, one from there, one from the hips, one from the shoulders. And basically, they're gonna lift them up like this, and they'll just ensure that it's washed from there. Okay, they'll ensure that the right side of the body is being washed.
And then you bring them back down, and then you lift the left side. So this is the way you wash the right side. You wash the left side of the body all the way down. So from shoulder all the way up down to the bottom of the foot, inshallah. You'll wash all the left side of the body, inshallah. And then you'll bring them flat. Once all that is done, then what we do is we slightly raise the mayyit. So we lift them up a little, yes? And we press them just below the abdomen. So we press this area just in case there's any najasat there, so that can come out.
We normally do that before we do istanjah. We normally do that at the beginning. So softly massaging it around, around the navel, around the stomach. So if there's any filth that's still not come out, it normally comes out. Softly massaging the stomach to ensure that if there's any stool or anything that's yet to come out, it comes out. Because then if we do it, the reason we do it at the beginning is to prevent us doing the whole thing again.
You don't have to do it anyway again, even if it is.
Yeah, I know.
So if you do it at the end, there's no need to do ghusl all again. If any najasat does come out of the body, you've already performed the ghusl, there's no need to repeat that ghusl. So then you'll just take out the ghusl, you wash that away, you just gently press it, so you don't obviously do press it hard. And if there's any najasat, then you wash that away off the body, and then you put it into place. And then you leave the mayyit obviously as it is. And basically that is obviously the ghusl that has. But then obviously you wash the entire body. Once
we've done that, what we normally do here is we soap.
Yeah.
We soap the body. So basically, what happens? You have the soap in between your hands. You rub it together, and then the soap. And then one of the volunteers is basically, or one of the family members is pouring water over the soap, and one of them rubbing the soap like this. Basically, we didn't even put in the soap. We didn't have some lukewarm water, where the soap and water are coming together. It becomes soapy water. We pour that over the body prior to washing it and then once that's done all over the body, the final wash, the second wash will be done. The final wash, we normally do with kafur water, because it's under the Prophet alayhi salatu, when his daughter passed away, radiyallahu ta'ala anha, he instructed the women to basically perform the final wash with kafur. So kafur, we've got the masjid provides that for the deceased. It gets broken down, he's placed it within the water, and then the final wash is done with that, as per the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu. So the final wash, once we've washed the soap off, then the final wash happens, and then after that, even with that water, we keep, because the kafur is a powder, camphor, it's basically called camphor inside English, and we have blocks of it, so we take bits of it. We place it over the 7 points of prostration, which is a practice which goes back to the saying of Sayyida Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. So these are two things that we practice. If some people choose to add rose water, which is similar to kafur in terms of reward, and the sayings of the Prophet ﷺ in terms of rose water as well are similar to that of kafur. So the final wash is done with kafur, with water mixed with camphor, and then it's ready to be placed inside the casket.
So before we place them inside the casket, of course, we're going to make sure that the sheets, the shrouding sheets, they are all in place, because obviously we're going to put the coffin on once they go inside, so they need to be all ready.
Sorry. Once you've done this, you should write La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah across the chest of the deceased. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah across the chest, and tasmiyah across the forehead. As the practice amongst the Sunnah, basically to write that's a testimony that the resurrected La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim across the forehead. And then the Shaykh.
You can do that as well once you put them inside the casket as well. When you put it on once you put the first chadar on, which is what we know as the tamis or the kafni, you can do it that as well.
It's way too difficult to do it once it's in the casket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were saying you can do it anyway after that. Then, but before you do, actually, if the body is quite wet, then we also got a towel. You can slightly gradually dampen the body as well with this towel, dampen it down. So obviously, if it's wet heavily, then you can slightly dry it with this area. So before
basically the thing called air dry, so what that is basically you leave the body once all the ghusl has been once the ghusl has been performed and you fulfilled the rites of ghusl. Whilst you're preparing the coffin within the casket, the body tends to air dry, which is naturally dry itself. If it's extremely wet, then like she said, we normally get a towel, which is the largest towel you get, and we basically dry it. Because this cloth is wet now, what we do is basically get the towel and we place it. So we lift this up, and then we get the second towel comes over the body, over the aura. And because it's a lot bigger, it covers a lot more of the body. Because the ghusl has been done now, that allows it to dry. So we can with that towel we can tap the body, allowing the body to dry, and the rest of the body parts they're allowed to air dry, which is basically naturally dry by itself. The environment, the atmosphere will absorb the wetness from the body.
Obviously, there's 3 sheets that we use. 3 for the males. 3 sheets.
For women, 5 sheets.
Yeah, for the females, there's 5 sheets. But we're going to talk about through the males. 3 sheets that we're going to use of the coffin, white sheets. Yes, they're made of good quality cloth that we use for the coffin. Now, normally in terms of the width itself, depending on how much it is, this is doubled anyway. Is it double? Yeah. So this is obviously wide enough, but sometimes you can't get it wide. If you can't, I'm just explaining the masala here. But here, alhamdulillah, the cloth is wide enough to use. But if, for example, you've got a roll here, which is only what you've got a roll, yes, it's long, but the width of it is what, 1/2 meter, yes. Now, obviously, this is not going to be enough to wrap around the mayyit. So what do we do? So we'll get the 2 cloth, we'll get 2 of equal size, and we'll sew it together. So we'll stitch them together to obviously increase the width of it. So here, obviously, we've got cloth which is about 2 meters wide, which is more than enough to wrap around the body. Maximum you need is about 1.5 meters, 1.75 meters. So this is approximately 2 meters, So this will be more than enough to wrap around the body. Like I said, there's 3 sheets that we're going to use. 3 sheets. The 3 sheets that we use, the first one, which will go at the bottom, right at the bottom. Well, below that you'll have the 3 kind of strips which we will tie around. But this will be the 3 sheets. The first one is known as the lifafa. Yes. The second one is known as the izar, and the third one is known as the qamis. Yes. So you got the lifafa, the izar, and the qamis. The lifafa will be placed first inside the coffin, the first one. Yes. Now we've already mentioned that
the right side or left side.
Sorry, what's that?
The lifafa, the first sheet, is it for the right side or the left side?
Right side.
Yeah.
So this will be for the right side of the body. But in terms of the length of it, so you'll obviously see the length of the body, yes. and then we will increase it a little more, so about 8 to 9 inches, enough so you can tie it, the ends. You can tie the ends. So it'll be the full length, yes, and then a little extra from the sides so that you can tie it. Yeah, this will be the first sheet that will go down. And then the second sheet, which will be known as the izar, yes. The izar will be the size of the body itself from head to toe. Yes, this will be the length of it, the izar. And then the third sheet, which is known as the qamis. Now the qamis is slightly different in terms of how it's done. The qamis is just like a normal shirt, but it doesn't have no sleeves. Yes, it won't have no sleeves. And it will not be stitched or sewn from the sides, so it'll be open from the sides. So just imagine you've got like a kameez like this, yes, a salwar kameez, yes, but it's got no arms on it, yes, and it's not being sewn from the sides here, so it's open from the sides. That's how it will be, and this will cover the area from obviously from the shoulders all the way to past the knees, yes. It'll cover all the way up to there. That's the length of what the kameez will be. So it'll go up to your shins, taqriban, all the way up to there. Now, obviously, how you determine this is you will measure the size. But I think they're all pre-measured, yeah?
There's plenty of clothing already prepared.
Yeah. But obviously, if you haven't got it prepared, then what it would be is you'd measure the size from the shoulder to past the kneecap to the shins, and then you'll just double that. So whatever it is, you'll just double it over. And then we'll explain how obviously you put it on them, inshallah, once it's ready.
Do you want to put the kameez for it?
So as you can see, this is the kameez. Yes? So what we will do is, if we look at the size here, it's from the shoulders and it's going up to the shins. You see? From the beginning, from the shoulders, all the way to the bottom of the shins. This is like the area that it will cover. Now what we'll do is, to start off with, we will give it a little slit here in the middle, a small slit, and the reason why we're going to make a hole here. Why we're going to make a hole? So we can put the head through it. Yes. So we'll give it a small slit, and then we'll cut right side, and then we'll cut to the left side for the shoulders to pass, enough side for the head to pass through it, inshallah. So we'll make it big enough, and then once we've cut that.
There's one more thing. He's writing the kalima.
So what we'll do is, when we put the Mayyat, and you see this will be right at the top. So when we put them inside the coffin, this will be the top sheet. So you'll have the lifafa at the bottom, then you'll have the izar then second, and then the top sheet will be the qamis. So what we'll do with this one is we'll take it back here, so we'll fold it back. So this is the coffin here, yes? The Mayyat.
Yeah.
चलो कोई गल more to your left. Yeah. So this will already be folded back and put them, and then we will, once they put them in, then cover them here. Yeah. So can you see? So this is the qamis that's already been done. Yes, we applied the qamis.
On the qamis we normally write the kalima shahada la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah across the middle, and on the lifafa on the right hand side we write Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim across here, a short line, so when because this is the izar's place first, and then the lifafa's place over it. This all covers the face. It's covered.
Also, one of the practices is that obviously we said that we've got some itar, yes? So with this itar, we will apply this itar upon the limbs that touch the ground when we go into sajda. So what are the limbs that touch the ground when we go into sajda? You've got your forehead, yes? You've got your hands, you've got your knees, and you've got your feet, yes? So we will apply, once we put this qameez on, before we apply the next sheets, we will put this itar on. So we'll apply itar onto the forehead, then we'll apply it onto the hands. So here the hand is, and we apply itar onto the hands, right hand and the left hand. And then we will apply onto the knees. Now obviously here with the knees you have to be careful that you make sure that you've got your kapra, you know, this cloth that is, or if you're wearing gloves, that's on because it's from the satar. And then you apply it, just in case your hand does touch that area, you apply it with that, and then you'll apply it onto the feet as well.
And when you're doing this, you're not lifting the qameez up, you're basically placing your hand underneath because it's open, it's an open qameez, you're placing your hand underneath the opening on top of the knee and you're rubbing it on, or you can place it on top of the cuffman as well. It's totally up to you. Ideally you want it upon the limb, so you place your hand upon the limb and you rub it onto the right side, and whoever's on the left side, they can put the left side.
And then obviously Ifraz mentioned that you write the kalima, yes, on the qameez itself as well, and also it's from the practice, but I think you said you're doing the ghusl as well, to write along the forehead, you know, just to write the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim on the forehead.